Hi there, I'm Stacey Ross. Welcome to the CHEK Spotlight. Now, we are on the final day of the Rising Economy Week conference in Victoria, and there is still time to register for this afternoon's in-person or virtual keynote and roundtable with global innovation disruptor and best-selling author Dan Brensnitz. Today, we feature Ragwa Gopal, President and CEO of Innovate BC, in conversation with Kerry Slavens of South Island Prosperity Partnership. On the table, the state of the technology sector in BC and how Ragwa's organization, Innovate BC, is helping to reboot BC's economy by assisting innovators right across the province in building great companies. Over to you, Kerry.
Thank you. It is Rising Economy Week, and today I'm talking with Ragwa Gopal, President and CEO of Innovate BC. He is not only from Innovate BC, he's a self-described serial entrepreneur who has extensive experience starting, growing, and selling businesses. Hi, Ragwa.
Hi, good afternoon.
Ragwa, what is Innovate BC, and what is your mandate?
Innovate BC is a crown agency of the province of British Columbia, and we report to the Ministry of Jobs, Economic Recovery and Innovation. And our mandate is to support and promote innovation in all regions of the province. And we help connect BC's innovators to all sorts of government resources and support.
Okay, great. And innovation has been touted as one of the major attributes we need to propel us into the new economic era and make us competitive. People have various definitions of what innovation is. What is your definition?
Well, generally, innovation is defined as turning an idea into a new product or new service. We like to think of innovation as offering solutions to problems. One of our initiatives, and we call them innovation challenges, it starts with the problem, and then we call on BC innovators to come and pitch their solutions to hopefully solve that problem. Industry and government need to transform their businesses and operations, in the face of change, but they're not kind of built for high velocity innovation. So small and medium-sized technology companies are, and through our innovation challenges, Innovate BC brings them together, to take a challenge and build solutions for those.
Mm-hmm. And the goal, my understanding is we're trying to develop, or you're trying to develop a made in BC kind of innovation, not a model of, say, like a Silicon Valley or somewhere else, because we have our own unique talents and challenges. My understanding.
Absolutely. We need to build on the strength that's in British Columbia. I mean, we can learn from what other jurisdictions are doing, but what we really need to build on is the strengths that we have here. So basically, clean tech as an example, artificial intelligence, AR, VR, these technologies, and we have experience with these areas of technology for a long time. So we want to build on those.
That's great. And we often hear, there's been a number of studies out that Canadian businesses overall are not ranking as competitive compared to other countries. The Conference Board of Canada just ranked Canada 11th on its list of 16 peer countries. So they gave us a C grade. What do you think of this? And what should we be doing to encourage innovation and promote ourselves as innovators globally?
Yeah, I see those reports and I see those rankings, and I think there's a lot of merit to those. But on the other side, I do want to say that we are doing fairly well. If you look at just in the last year, there's been 10 unicorns created. So these are companies with a valuation of $1 billion or more. So even though we're a small ecosystem over here, we probably is not competitive as the rankings that you've just talked about. But there are lots going on. But the big thing is the opportunities are humongous. So there's a lot of opportunities for companies here to grow.
Okay, and you mentioned clean tech. I'm just going to shift to clean tech for a minute. With climate change, such an imperative right now. And of course, we've just had the COP26 conference. It seems like with the perils of climate change, there are also a lot of opportunities for solutions. What are you seeing with the growth of clean tech in British Columbia?
It's probably a hidden secret, but out of the top 100 clean tech companies in the world. 13 of them are located in British Columbia. So we're doing fairly well. But having said that, again, there's opportunities to do more. Carbon engineering that's based in Squamish are doing some fantastic stuff. Hydra technologies are doing humongous amount of innovation in that space. So there's lots going on here. Obviously, we want to add some more fuel to that fire to make sure more innovation is happening here in our own backyard.
And what are some of the biggest barriers facing not just clean tech, but tech in general in British Columbia? I mean, for instance, is inflation a problem? Is access to capital a problem? What are the barriers and how do we need to go about solving them?
Access to capital used to be a problem, but over the last 6 months, there's been over $2 billion invested in British Columbia companies and opportunities. So I don't think access to capital is the big thing right now. The big thing right now is skill shortages that are faced by not just technology businesses, but all sorts of businesses. And there is an increasingly competitive, landscape for talent. So I think that's the big issue right now is talent. And as far as, the government, provincial government is concerned and Innovate BC is concerned, I mean, that continues to be a very focal point for us to make sure that we create, the right kind of talent that companies can utilize, when they need it. The government very recently, just 2 months ago, announced a $29 million Innovator Skills Initiative that we, Innovate BC, are actually implementing, providing opportunities for 3,000 students and graduates to get, work integrated learning. So we are doing a lot in that space. And the one other program that we're piloting right now, a program called Pellet Skills Initiative. It's a sales camp program that's being piloted here in BC for the first time that helps retrain mid-career professionals to fill high demand, talent gaps in the tech sector. So there's a number of opportunities or initiatives that we're working on in that regard.
I guess that is something to consider. I mean, we often think of the tech employee or tech worker as being, a kid just out of high school or just out of university. I mean, do we need to broaden our definition of who belongs in this field, who should be trained for it, who should be welcomed into it?
Absolutely. I mean, if you look at traditional industries like forestry and mining, where either through technology or via technology, the job market has changed. So people are kind of left behind. Now, if we could take those people and retrain them and repurpose them into some other sector, especially in the tech sector where there's a huge demand, that is a fantastic opportunity for those people. They get good full-time high-paying jobs, and it's great for the companies because they're dying for those kind of skill set. So yeah, we're definitely, some of these programs are very much needed, and we're starting to at least start to do some work on that area.
That's good to hear. Now, you must be seeing during the course of the pandemic and, moving into 2022, some trends that are emerging in the tech sector. Have you seen it, first of all, have you seen it transform throughout the pandemic? And what trends are we looking at coming up?
A lot, as far as, the businesses for the first time probably have gotten around the mindset that people can work from anywhere. So you don't need to have everybody all in one place in the office, which does open up a lot of opportunities for the companies to hire, really good talent from all over the place. So instead of looking for talent that are close by that can come to the office, now they can hire talent from anywhere. So that's a good emerging trend that's actually been positive. And it's been very helpful for people that are based in the regions, as an example, that normally would not have an opportunity to work for a growing company that's, say, located in Lower Mainland or the island or something. So it's provided them that opportunity as well.
Okay, that's good to hear. And despite any barriers, you mentioned already some very big success stories out of BC. Are there a couple other examples of companies that you would want to put a spotlight on right now in tech that, are really, heralding the way to the future here?
Well, I can name many, to be honest with you, that are really trending and doing well. But let me give you just a couple examples, just to kind of give you a flavor of what's happening. Industrial Plankton, they're a Victoria-based company, actually, that took part in Innovate BC's Aquaculture Innovation Awards, and we're one of the winners. Are doing some amazing innovation in terms of producing algae for bioreactors for live feed production in aquaculture hatcheries. I mean, that's just one example of some great innovation that's happening just in our backyard. The other one I would talk about is Acuva Technologies, who also participated in a couple of Innovate BC's program, Ignite, which is a program that helps ideas from academia, get commercialized. But the second one was we call the BC Fast Pilot Program, which helps companies secure the very first customers. So Acuva utilized both of our programs, and their innovation is they provide low maintenance, mercury-free off-grid water disinfection systems that can meet the demand for purified water in First Nations communities. So a great innovation that not just is a technology, but it also helps real people in places where they need something like this. So those are just a couple examples, but I can talk about hundreds of those.
Those are fabulous. And of course, with Industrial Plankton being here, of course, they are a local success story that I suspect we're going to hear a lot more about both of those companies coming up. What, in your mind, is the role of collaboration, and how important is it for government to team up with innovators and researchers?
I think collaboration is important. That way 1 + 1 + 1 becomes 5. So if everybody is not kind of on the same page, or not have the same kind of focus, we don't achieve what we want to do. So collaboration is definitely very important. And we, as from Innovate BC's point of view, I mean, we sort of become that catalyst that brings brings the industry, brings academia, and brings government together to create innovation in the province. And so it's very important, and there's a role that organizations need to play, and Innovate BC is one of them.
And government, I mean, you're funded by the province, is my understanding, or how does that work, Rag? Well, why don't you explain how you work?
Yeah, no, we're 100% funded by the provincial government through Ministry of Jobs, Economic Recovery and Innovation. So that's where our funding comes from, and we are the partner to deliver the programs on their behalf to British Columbians.
Right. What about differentiating the roles? A lot of people ask, how are the roles of the federal and provincial governments different in stimulating innovation?
Federal government programs seems to have sort of a national, pan-Canadian approach, whereas the provincial government can tailor the programs that are, very much sort of unique to our region, to British Columbia. So that's where I think the two programs differ. Which is really important, that we have some localized programs for the local needs.
Mm-hmm. And one of the things that we're seeing, we talked a little bit about trends in technology. There is, let's talk a little bit more about the growing awareness for the need for diversity and inclusion, particularly at the senior management and board levels. How does welcoming more diversity, women, Indigenous people, LGBTQ, people of color, how does that influence the innovation outcomes?
Well, all the research that I've seen shows that having a diverse organization definitely builds better companies. The inclusion of new and fresh ideas or diverse ideas makes the company much better and is stronger, and they live longer. So for that reason alone, diversity is very important. But then we need to also kind of look at what our community looks like. So your business, your organization should reflect what the community looks like as well. So we have a very diverse community, and hence the businesses or organizations should be diverse as well. So it's a very important point. At Innovate BC, it's diversity and inclusion is an overarching theme for us. So everything that we do, we make sure that diversity and inclusion is sort of the fundamental piece of it.
That's fabulous. And what do you think we can expect into year 3 of the pandemic, or some people are now calling it the endemic, for technology companies in BC? Will the tailwinds that they've experienced continue?
When we looked at last year, we were talking to a lot of roundtables. We were talking to mainly the tech sector, just trying to figure out, what they were doing, how they were faring, how the pandemic was affecting them. And what we were finding was over 90% of the companies were doing okay and actually growing and hiring. So there was, a very small portion of the technology sector was affected adversely. So, which is a really positive thing. So even with the pandemic, the tech sector has stayed very resilient and is growing. But I think there's a bigger opportunity now. I think what we've seen is just the mindset of doing business a little different way, some different needs, different innovative ideas that needs to come out, especially in the biomedical fields. I think there's a lot of opportunities for the tech sector to grow in British Columbia. I'm very optimistic about it.
That's fabulous. Any concluding thoughts? What can we expect from Innovate BC coming up?
A couple of things. Like I said, talent. We're hearing that every day. So we are going to make sure that we continue to work very, very hard in making sure the companies need the right kind of talent at the right time. And the other one is a big thing is a really continued focus on diversity and inclusion, and making sure that all British Columbians, especially the ones that don't have the right kind of opportunity, get all of the opportunity that they deserve. So bring them into the fold. So those are, two big focuses going forward.
That's great. And I really want to thank you for your time today. I know you've been in airports most of the day or waiting for flights. If businesses want to know more about Innovate BC, what is your URL? Can you remind us?
Absolutely. Just go to www.innovatebc.ca and you'll see also all the programs and support that we provide.
That's fabulous. I want to thank you, Ragwa Gopal, President and CEO of Innovate BC. I want to remind everybody to also tune in to the Rising Economy Week conference. We have a lot of great panels, some great keynote speakers coming up. You can go to ourrisingeconomy.com and find out more. Thank you for your time today, Ragwa. Take care.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.